It is 6 a.m. and right now on Denver7 News.
The virus doesn't respect municipalities. It goes where it wants to go, and we all need to respond collectively.
Local counties are calling on the state to act more aggressively to control the spread of COVID.
We need to all do our part right now to make sure that we don't slide any further into that red zone territory.
Plus, hope for a widely available COVID vaccine within 6 months.
I think you're going to get vaccinated within the first 4 months. I would say by April, you'll be able to be vaccinated.
And feeding thousands of hungry families in need. One of the largest turkey drives in the metro is in need of help.
I'm Denver7's Micah Smith, and the Epworth Foundation's Thanksgiving meal giveaway in honor of Daddy Bruce not only needs donations, but drivers. They're delivering meals this year because of the pandemic. I'll have more coming up.
Whole lot of people need some extra help this year, and you can help give them a warm meal for Thanksgiving. Good Wednesday morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Molly Hendrickson. We want to wish a happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans out there. Thank you for our service. It is going to be a beautiful Veterans Day for us. We want to get straight to meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo at her home weather center. It is a little chilly out there right now, Lisa.
It is pretty normal this time of year to see some 20s. Right now we're in the low to mid 20s up and down the Front Range. Chilly start. As you get up into the mountains, you're going to find some single digits in teens, so pretty cold, but some great snowmaking weather at the ski resorts. And we're going to get a little more help from Mother Nature here. I'll show you that in just a minute. Right now, though, beautiful. Expect a sunny drive. It's going to be bright. It feels like just about 14 degrees in and around the metro area when you factor in those winds, but we'll be in the upper 40s this afternoon, close to 50 degrees with a mostly sunny sky, mainly 30s in the mountains. It's pretty quiet in the high country right now, but coming up, we're going to take a look at when that snow is going to move back in and what to expect this weekend if you're heading up to the mountains to go hit the slopes. Jason?
There are some icy spots up in the mountains right now, but nothing too terribly bad. You watch out for the icy spots there. And then here and around downtown Denver, we do have some icy spots in some of those shaded areas right behind some of the big tall buildings. Take a look from the drive at I-25 right by Mile High Stadium. That's northbound. This is southbound I-25. I think it's going to be lighter than normal overall because it is Veterans Day, so a lot of government offices are closed today. We've had one crash up to the northeast side of town, 112th and Chambers, so that could cause you a slight delay, but otherwise wide open conditions on just about all the freeways, looking pretty good. We'll start to see the volume really start showing up in the next 15 to 20 to 30 minutes.
Thanks, Jason. With a new day comes a new record in the number of COVID cases reported in our state. Another 3,890 cases were reported Wednesday. If the number doesn't show just how serious the problem is, this graph will. Now look at the daily case numbers since the pandemic started in March. You can see on the right here, cases are skyrocketing to levels that dwarf where we were just a few weeks ago. And today at 5, Arapahoe County will be the latest metro county to move to level orange. That includes more restrictions, including 25% capacity at restaurants and gyms.
And that level orange is just one step away from stay-at-home orders being put into effect. With cases surging in Colorado, local health officials are calling on the state to make a more aggressive approach. Several health departments sent a letter to Governor Polis wanting him to implement county stay-at-home orders before it's too late. State officials are reluctant to issue a statewide lockdown, though, wanting local governments to take the lead instead.
We need to all do our part right now to make sure that we don't slide any further into that red zone territory.
A University of Denver professor says recovery from the initial shutdown may take up to 2 years. A second shutdown would devastate small businesses, bars and restaurants, and even more.
And the state moved Jefferson County to level orange on the COVID dial on Monday, but the schools haven't made any changes. Could that change this morning? Denver7's Nicole Brady joins us live. And Nicole, in the last 24 hours, one major school district pulled the plug on in-person learning. Another is talking about going all remote.
That's right, Molly. Jeffco is the last holdout in the metro area, the only district that really hasn't said anything yet. But we'll be watching a board meeting this morning to see if Jeffco follows other districts going fully remote. Just last night, Boulder Valley School District announced they will move all students to remote learning starting next Tuesday, November 17th, until after winter break, till January. Last night, Douglas County's Board of Education spent hours discussing a similar transition. The district is leaning toward going fully remote after Thanksgiving, but will will make a final decision next week. Meanwhile, Cherry Creek is moving to remote starting today with middle and high schoolers, and elementary students will go remote starting Monday. So what about Jeffco? Well, the district spokesperson told me yesterday they had no changes to announce yet, but the agenda for the Jeffco Board of Education meeting this morning says they're going to be reviewing logistics in preparation for changes to learning models. That sounds like a strong indication that they are considering going remote as well. Now, whether that will be all grade levels or all schools, we'll have to see after that meeting at 9 this morning. Molly.
Tough decisions by schools. Thank you, Nicole. And Colorado's universities are also going remote. CU will end in-person classes on Friday. It will be fully remote come Monday. DU is also going fully remote Monday, and CSU will transition for the last 2 weeks of classes starting November 30th.
New from overnight, hospitalizations across the country are now at an all-time high. Just under 62,000 people are hospitalized nationwide. New data shows 40% more people are hospitalized now with COVID than just 2 weeks ago. The better news is, since we have more tools and knowledge about how to handle cases, more people are going into the ICU and coming out alive. Dr. Anthony Fauci says he's confident a COVID vaccine will be made widely available to all Americans by next April.
We have a lot of people in this country who may not want to get vaccinated right away. That's why we were talking that it might take well into the second and third quarter to finally get people to be convinced to get vaccinated. But if Jake Tapper wants to get vaccinated, I think you're going to get vaccinated within the first 4 months.
Dr. Fauci says he believes many of those hesitant to take the vaccine will be persuaded by data proving its effectiveness. Colorado hopes to get 200,000 doses by the end of the year.
It appears Obamacare will withstand a challenge in the U.S. Supreme Court. Yesterday marked the first day of oral arguments. The Trump administration and several Republican-led states argued the individual mandate requiring all Americans have health insurance is unconstitutional. But several justices indicated it should not be left up to them to decide the fate of the entire law.
It's a very straightforward case for severability under our precedents, meaning that we would excise the mandate and leave the rest of the act in place.
The Affordable Care Act was previously upheld by the Supreme Court twice in 2012 and 2015, but the 5 justices in the majority on those decisions are now 4 after the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
For the last 50 years, thousands of Thanksgiving meals have been handed out to those in need in the name of Daddy Bruce Randolph. But as so many struggle through the pandemic, the organization now needs some help of its own. Denver7's Micah Smith is live for us this morning. Micah, a lot of people hurting right now, but donations are slow.
Donations are slow, Brian. The Epworth Foundation's Thanksgiving dinner giveaway in honor of Daddy Bruce is facing 2 major obstacles this year. That's the election and the pandemic. Reverend Ronald Wooding, who's the executive director of the Daddy Bruce Legacy Foundation, told me that during election years, donations typically come in slower, and that is the case this year. Wooding says when you add in the increase in the number of families and people in need, they're in a tough spot. So they're asking anyone who can donate, please do so, whatever you can. However, $35 will provide 1 meal, which can feed about 8 people. But even if you can't give, Wooding says they are in need of volunteer drivers. This year, due to the pandemic, they will not be hosting a huge meal pickup where there are typically lines wrapped around for blocks.
They will just put it on their porch and call and let them know that their food has been delivered versus them having to pick it up. So that's what the major change this year.
Wooding says they plan to give out 10,000 meals, which can feed about 75 to 80,000 people. The meal deliveries will be Saturday, November 21st. If you're interested in donating or volunteering, you can find more information on the Epworth Foundation's website. That's epworthfoundation.org, EPWRTH Foundation.org. Reporting live, Micah Smith, Denver 7.